Right, Resident Evil 8 Village on the Xbox Series X breakdown review analysis, a game that I've been waiting for ever since I even heard the announcements. And as you guys might know, I am a crazy Resi fan. Resident Evil is my #1 franchise of all time. So I was super excited to get hold of this game. I was very worried, I'm not going to lie. I do still feel, hands down, that Resident Evil 7, I think that should have been a different IP for Capcom, because it had little to no connection to the Resident Evil lore that we have known. I still stand by that, to be completely fair. But yeah, I was very, very worried that it would be another type of a very good horror game, but not a good Resident Evil game. And I have, in fact, got a whole page of notes to go through itself. Haven't written down the scoring, but I've got a scoring in my mind, exactly what I'm going to give it. So we'll go through this breakdown analysis like we do with any other review. The same structure and the same template, because we've got to be as fair as possible. But just to give you some background info, the standard edition of Resident Evil 8 Village is £60. So if I was to walk into game, £60 off the shelf. They have a statue edition with a Chris Redfield statue for £220. I'm all right. Though I love my statues, I'm okay. I wasn't gagging that hard to get a Chris Redfield statue. I wouldn't mind it, but I'm not coughing out £220 for that. My copy was $49.85 from shop2.net with the discount that I get because I'm a member of theirs. The digital pricing is actually cheaper than the standard physical copy, which is unusual. It was $54.99 for the digital copy and $64.99 for the digital deluxe. They also showed off a coat edition where you actually get a massive Chris Redfield coat. When someone told me that, I'm not interested in researching that shit, because that's going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. So, no thanks. No thank you. Installation size, 30 gig. And the game itself is enhanced for the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series X. You can see it on the top side right there, that little symbol there. And the copy that we got is a hologram copy, so it slightly moves. It's nothing fantastic, but it's a little nice gimmick to have. So, choice of music used is the very first thing that we go for, and it, like Resident Evil, it's got to have suspense. It's got to feel great at the time. It's got to work with the game itself. And I've got no complaints. I've got no complaints at all for the soundtrack or the actual sound music that they use within the game. I did have a slight issue with some of the music that was used in Resident Evil 7. The Don't Tell Aunt Rhody soundtrack I thought was freaking awful. But the music from start to finish on this game, it worked very, very, very well. It didn't break in any way. There was no crackling. There was no audio skipping. There was no bugs within the sound at all. It worked perfectly fine. I didn't have an issue with it. So with that, can't fault it. Move along. The audio effects and the voice acting. I am actually happy that the majority of the guns in this game actually do sound decent. And I played with pretty much nearly all of them. I did find that in Resident Evil 7, again, just using that as a reference, that some of the guns in that game did not really have the earthy, depthy, bassy, explosive type of noise that I would expect in a gun. But I can't really fault and complain about Resident Evil 8's choices of audio effects within the guns. The barrel explosions, some of them did make me jump. Even the mines that I put down and the pipe bombs that I threw, the effects that they gave off audio wise, I felt comfortable with. I didn't find an issue with. No bugs, no issues, no glitches, yada yada yada. So yeah, I was happy with it. Voice acting, We revisit a lot of the characters that we already know. Ethan and Mia, of course, so they're still voice acted by the same people. Chris Redfield, obviously, if you haven't seen the trailers, is within the game itself. I didn't have any issue with the voice acting for him, and with all the enemies, including the bosses as well, which have quite a lot of verbal dialogue. Every lord, every single character that was done, I love them. I absolutely love them. I could not fault the voice acting in this game at all, and for me, it worked. There were characters that really did showcase emotion. And, you know, there was that one guy in Resident Evil 7, again, referencing that game, that his voice acting was so bad. His acting overall was terrible, but his voice acting was so bad. And in this, there was one specific character, one NPC, or that was introduced to Ethan early in the game, that had convincing emotion within them, and I thought it was awesome. I pointed it out in the stream as well, and I said that voice acting that guy's doing is on point, absolutely on point. So in terms of audio aspects in this game, I can't fault the game at all. I can't knock points off, and I won't knock points off. I need to keep this on hand because my throat's already sore. We put more than 30 hours into this game in under a week. Wait, hold on, 3-4 days. Graphics, texturing, and weather effects. So for the very first thing, graphics. I could tell that this game had a draw distance, and what I mean by draw distance, I can't put that there, is that I could tell within a certain distance of an object when the game was rendering the graphic quality within the game itself. 20-30 meters, sometimes even smaller than that in some instances, where I could see the texturing of certain things load in. I'm not going to put that down to any fault of the game itself. It's just pretty much just the hard drive loading in the actual quality of the game. But it was a tiny bit noticeable in some areas, just a tiny bit. But the graphic engine that they're using in this game is so stunning. It's absolutely breathtaking, and I can't praise it enough. The enemies looked fantastic. The bosses looked fantastic. The lichen effects that they had, and just the overall structure of the enemies, and you can pretty much see everything from their fangs, from the blood dripping down their face, to the effects that they used. This game looked absolutely amazing, and I will at some stage connect it up to my 4K TV and enable the HDR function and the additional, high hertz. I just want to see this game in its absolute glory at some stage. I might even take it downstairs and just play it for mum. See. But graphics, texturing, absolutely breathtaking. No black squares, thank God. Weather effects, there was a lot of ambient effects, especially with the sun coming down. You could see the sunlight coming through. Overall, again, I can't complain. I thought the game looked absolutely beautiful. It really, really did. You could even see the gentle snow particles that were falling down as well. And that really added to the ambient weather effect. I absolutely loved it. So, yeah, graphic texturing and weather effects, I can't fault. Character model design, on point 100%. And when you complete the game, you can actually buy in the bonus section the character models, which you can then examine within 3D. You can actually see them up close. So if you're an artist, I've said this before in some other reviews that allow you to do that with models. If you're an artist, you'd probably really freaking dig this game, because you can see the model designs up close, zoom straight in, and really get a feel of the depth, the quality of everything that you can see within the character. So, character model design, loved it. Like I said, bosses, absolutely loved it. Any glitches and bugs in the game, we saw some slight stuttering with enemies that were killed And when they fell on the floor and they got in the way of some of the terrain and they were just stuttering just a teeny weeny bit. I saw that only once or twice. Other than that, I saw no glitches or bugs within the game. Yes, sometimes the enemies can hit you through walls, and sometimes, you know, enemies that have massive weapons can swing and just clip through things, which is, you know, but that's like most games. That's like most games are. Gameplay and mechanics. If you are familiar with Resident Evil 7, you're going to automatically feel very, very safe and very well at home with the gameplay and mechanic system that they use in Resi 8. They use it's because it's a follow-up. They use pretty much the same stuff. It's the same layouts. It's the same consuming things. It's all very, very, very similar. Gameplay felt very, very, very sluggish. So I had to go into the options and change my, my movement setting to 7 and my camera setting to 5, because I felt when the character was moving and turning, it was too stiff and I really, really didn't like it. So I had to, for me, find some optimal settings. But speaking of optimal settings itself, I'm reading my notes at the same time. Within the graphics brightness, I have spoken to 3 other people playing this game, and all 3 of them have said that they had to play this game by increasing the brightness to stupid levels. When we first started the game, I thought the game was ridiculously dark. Even though I did the fine tuning, it's, you know, lower the brightness until this box disappears or it's barely visible, increase it to see this and all that crap. I did all of that. But the game was ridiculously dark. Like, stupidly dark. And the only way I could play it was by maxing out one of the settings. I believe it was pretty much just the third choice, the third brightness one that you have after. I just whacked it up to full, and then I could actually see within the game. I don't know. I can't see that being a fault on Capcom's side. But then again, I don't know what the hell causes that crap. And as 3 other people have said the exact same thing, where the game was ridiculously dark. It blows my mind at how a middle setting on all of it can't give you at least an average feed when it was just way too dark. Back to mechanics. They do introduce a lot of new things in the game. I did. Oh god, the merchant, the merchant guy who sells bits and bobs for you to make blueprint stuff and to actually make items and to also buy unique weapon upgrades too, to help customize your weapons and improve them. I did like that a lot, and the fact that he references the merchant from Resi 4 gave me and my community a massive buzz, like a really epic buzz. We were like, hey, nice one. There are also a few things that you can collect ingredients for, which you can help level your character up in a sense by giving him more health, more block protection, and even faster sprinting when he needs to run away like a little bitch. So yeah, fishing and chicken and meat, all a thing. Any game customization and stats building, I've just mentioned part of it. In terms of customizations, the weapons, yes, they can be customized. Your characters can't be customized in any way. They all wear the same outfits. You can't change their outfits in any way, like some games where you can unlock more clothing. But it's pretty much just down to stat building is basically just increasing his health by consuming food, in giving him more defense and giving him more run speed. Weapon-wise, it's just about upgrading the weapons, adding the attachments to the weapons and making them stronger and more efficient and more reliable during battle. That's pretty much the customization that you have there. But when you complete the game, you unlock another mode, and it's nice to see that Mercenaries made a return. And in Mercenaries itself, when you do the time events, you can go around and shatter the colored orbs, and those orbs give you a variety of perks that you can run around with, and you can pretty much have a complete random set of perks at any time, because I think it's all based on an RNG system. So you do have customization in that sense. You can customize the perks that you want for the time trial runs, but it's up to you if you take it as that or not, really. But to me, it kind of is, but so it's up to you. Replayability and game difficulty. There is a lot of replayability in this game because there are collectibles to find, the nodding goats that you have to try and listen out for and find, just like they did in the other game where it was the bobbing rugby players. But not only that, you have treasures, and you've also got a massive, and I mean a huge list of in-game challenges that you can do within the story. Some of those challenges require you to do certain things with sniper rifles, shotguns, handguns, knives, grenade launchers, magnums, you name it, there's probably a challenge for it. There is also some time trial challenges, killing bosses in certain speeds, and also collecting certain things, picklocking things, and combining items. So there is a lot of replayability. You've got also extra difficulties that unlock as you play through the game, and like I said earlier on, you also have the time trial mercenaries, so you can try to aim and get yourself an SSS rank on all the levels. And if you think you're done once you've done the initial 4 that they give you, think again. They give you hard mode versions of those 4 as well. So good luck. Good luck. Story, if applicable. This was the killer. This was the main thing. Resident Evil 7's story was a bit meh, in my opinion. I think the game is a great horror game, but I don't think it's a good Resident Evil game. Now, Resident Evil 8 Village has a very good story, in my opinion. In my opinion, this game pisses all over its previous title by a good mile. It had way more content, way more enemies. It was just in a whole different league of its own. To me, Resi 7 felt like a freaking demo in comparison to Resi 8, because there was so much content in Resident Evil 8. Do I class it a Resident Evil game? No. 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 I mean, they did try harder to connect Resident Evil 8 to the overall lore of Resident Evil. The umbrella symbols, the documentations that you can read, Chris Redfield being within the game and a playable character, just like they did with 7 though. But again, I don't think there was enough to really connect it to the umbrella lore or the Resident Evil lore. I still think this in itself could have been a different IP from Capcom, really. They could have taken Chris out and replaced him with another hero type character within that new series. But I mean, this is just my opinion. But it didn't ruin this game compared to like it did with 7. This game was freaking awesome to play, and it was seriously enjoyable from start to where I'm at right now. I'm going to keep playing this. I've still got more to do, but I think the story in this game destroys the story that Resi 7 had. It just in my opinion, it's such a better game. Online co-op modes, features and stability. There is no online. Ignore that. Co-op modes, ignore. And we can't, because that's all online, we can't talk about the online features and stability, so we ignore that as well. Purchase price versus digital price and value of content. My price was $49.85. Am I happy paying that price? 100% yes. Do I feel the pricing? The average pricing is pretty much around £55. If you look at the standard, the digital deluxe, and my copy, we're not talking about the statue edition, because if you want to spend £220 on a statue of Chris Redfield with the game, then be my guest. Do I feel £55 is value of content? I'm going to say yes, in my opinion. $55 I think would have been the highest I would have liked to pay. £60 is just pushing your luck a little bit too much, and £65 for a digital deluxe. No. God knows what that coat edition is, and how much that they want want you to pay for it. Now we're going to go through the notes. Everything written down is going to add content to the breakdown that we've already gone through. So it's going to add even more. So the very first thing that I write down is brightness is FUCKED. Had to raise it to the max just to see the game. It does have a built-in photo mode, and I enjoyed playing that outside of stream. I want to take a lot more photos of certain things, and I might share them on Instagram and on Twitter just for giggles, but we'll see. I did like the fact that when you broke the windows within the main castle building, you could hear the atmosphere outside, the wind rushing in, and the way it howled as it came in, and it came in, and it brought, weather effects in as well. I thought that was absolutely awesome. There was a piano puzzle in this game that was stupid, in my opinion. It gave you a music sheet, and it wanted you to push keys on the piano to match those keys to the notes, and the game gives it away, because if you just push all the buttons at random, you're going to get them all. When you pushed a key, an orange circle appeared on the music sheet at where that key was, compared to where the black one is to what you need to play. I think they should have done it where you learn the music, because you're actually teaching something to a player that might not actually know how to read music. So I didn't like that. That was one gripe. If I'm going to have a gripe, that's my one gripe right now, is that they made the piano puzzle stupidly easy by giving you the answers when they didn't even teach you it properly. I had multiple game freezes, 4 lines, and they were noticeable as well. They weren't all during boss events as well. One of them was just me running around picking stuff up, and then it froze for about 3 seconds and then resumed. I googled it. I didn't see hardly anyone talking about that for console, but on PC, like lots of people complaining about problems on the PC. Lots. Breathtaking scenery and surrounding graphics. Secrets in game are poorly done. They are. The secrets in this game are shit. Like, really stupid. The way that they did them in 7 is the secret wouldn't reveal itself unless you had the photograph. The photograph then led you to the secret, which you could then interact with whatever it was to get the secret item. In this game, the secrets are out there already, and you'll find them, you'll bump into them, and then you'll find the photo to tell you that that was a secret. And I was like, wait, what? Wait, why did you do it that way? That, to be fair, was dumb. Really stupid. And I think they could have done a better job with the secrets, in my opinion. Optimal control settings for the camera and movement style. The Dollhouse Lord was too short. Could have done better. I have to say the first Lord was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Which was the really big, tall vampire bird with the biggie boobies. Her level, I'll say level because it is her level, was absolutely fantastic. It had a lot of content. It had a great boss fight. The next fight after that is the second Lord, and I'm just going to label it as Dole. That whole area was just poorly done, rushed in my opinion, lacking in content. They could have at least doubled or tripled the time that the character spent there. It could have been better. That's all I'm going to say. I did like the detective work that you had to do, but I still think they could have done a better job. And if you're going to use, I'm gonna say this during the review as well, because this in itself could be a trigger for some people. If you're going to use mutated babies, screaming mutated babies, please put a warning on the goddamn game, please, because that could be a trigger for someone. If you're gonna use it in your game, put it in your game that certain scenes, you know, contain this and that and that, and there is this warning. Because at least you're giving the player the heads up who's going into the game, you know, what they could end up seeing. I'm just chucking it out there. I wouldn't, I mean, it's a teeny weeny bit of a spoiler in a way, but not really. I mean, it's just, I wanted people to be careful when jumping into a game like this. If they have suffered bereavement, that might trigger them. I just wanted to make that 100% clear. Boss fights became more unrealistic as the game progressed. I have to say they did. At one point, I swear I was fighting Optimus Prime. It got really stupid really quick in a lot of the areas. Stupidly thin fighting arenas with a massive monster and a sledgehammer and an axe or a mace or a big pole. it got so stupid. But you know, it made it fun. That's all I'm gonna say. It made it fun, but it got unrealistic real quick. The story is fantastic. Then I've written something that I'm not going to say because that's a spoiler. Love the soundtrack. I still feel the game should have been its own IP. I wrote that down. And the ending credits, if you pay attention, show how certain things are done. So keep an eye on that. Mercenary mode unlocked. Minimap, do you know what? Mercenary mode, I've put probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours into it. I've unlocked the 4 easy levels, and I've unlocked the 2 hardcore ones. I've only got 2 left to do, and I've got S's and double S's on a lot of the on some of the levels itself. But I do feel a minimap system or even a toggle on the enemies so you can see where they are after a while, because there are times I am running around trying to find one last person, because every level has an enemy count. Like, you need to kill 30 enemies, you need to kill 50 enemies, 60 enemies. There's always that one bloody enemy that you can't find. So a minimap system, or maybe even an enemy identifier symbol popping on their head, if after, let's say, like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you haven't been able to find them, the game assists you and says, here they are, they're right here if you want to come and kill them. You can exit without killing them if you want to, but you do affect your overall scoring and your grade. So it's best to kill everything and anyone that you come into contact with. Larger enemies shouldn't have cutout points. I found during quite a lot of the big enemy fights that they have reset points. They'll run to a certain point, and if you hide or if you put yourself in a building, they'll despawn and respawn right at their reset point. And I thought that was stupid. Like, really dumb. When you're being chased by a massive lichen and you run into a door frame and then run out and he's gone and he's back at his spawn point, I think that's dumb. None of the large bosses should have respawn points like that. They should be able to constantly put pressure on the player, even if it gets to the point where they destroy the building. That would have been amazing, because you think you can hide from a lichen when it's chasing you down? Good luck hiding in a building. It's going to rip the building apart. There was a DLC option to purchase the Trauma Pack for $11.49, which unlocks the harder difficulty straight away, and it gives you a few more bonus items. If you want my opinion, avoid it. Not worth the money. Don't even bother. That's just my opinion. That's everything that I've written down. There are a few spoilers that I wrote down, which I'm not going to talk about. But I'm going to say that overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this game a lot more than I thought I would. I am not going to knock that in any way. I had a lot of fun with this game. So, it boils it down now to scoring, and would I recommend this game to people? I would. Yeah, I would. Obviously, it then means that I would have to recommend that you play 7. But the game gives you a recap option, so you can revisit what happened in 7 without having to play it. If you want my opinion, just play 7. Just play 7, for fuck's sake. I know some of you guys out there might find it a very, very, very good game. I thought it was a good horror game, but a shit resi game, as I said. But play 7 before you play 8, because they are fully connected. So that leaves it down to scoring. And I've had a scoring in my mind. I've had a scoring in my mind. The only negative points, like I said, brightness issues, controller issues, where I just had to tweak the movement speed and the camera speed. Enemy reset points shouldn't be a thing, to be fair. Not as bad as they are. The second Lord level could have been a lot bigger and had a little bit more content in there, because it was just over and done with way too quickly, and I was expecting a little bit more from that boss, to be fair. But I really enjoyed this game. I really did. I really enjoyed this game. So it makes it easy for me. I am happy scoring Resident Evil 8 a strong 9 out of 10. I thought it was a fantastic game. I really did. There were things that obviously lowered the points, but there were also things that increased the points as well. I am happy scoring Resident Evil 8 9 out of 10. Highly recommend playing it, but make sure you play 7 before you play 8, because those two games are interconnected with each other, so they flow together. And that's it. So all the people on YouTube, thank you for watching this recorded video. Like it, please do. Chuck some comments down there. I will always respond. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Thank you. Take care of yourselves.